Okay.
So one of the big things that has come up is there's been a massive push from the end of COVID with all of the efforts in distance learning that were forced on us during the pandemic. There's been a really big push to expand broadband resources. But something that's going to come from the expansion of broadband resources is that IT directors and schools are now going to have to manage more non-district or non-school devices and resources. So we're seeing them, being asked to deploy mobile hotspots and things like that in underserved communities. There were some schools that we worked with in certain parts of the Southeast where you could be at the end of one street, and at the top of the street, people were able to get, let's say, AT&T cell service. At the end of the street, nobody's able to get cell service. So they're using different resources to try to increase access to internet, having students in the parking lot through mobile hotspots. I don't know if you worked with any schools that were in that place or in that position during the pandemic, Janie.
A lot of that went through when they had the emergency connectivity funding. They did a lot at that time. And
Hmm.
also I think a new push is to have access points and all on in hotspots on buses, so students can continue their education on their way home. They can, if they don't have internet at home, they can have
Hmm.
access to be able to complete their homework on their bus ride home. And the hotspots is something there again. You had to jump through all the hoops for the federal government and make sure that they were a needy is not the right word, but they fell within the parameters of not being able to not having the access at their home, not having the access, not having the tools, the laptops, uh, tablets, or whatever to be able to continue. And that's where the emergency connectivity funding did step in and help there. Now, on the E-rate side, it still is, they do not provide, they are not providing the tablets, the equipment they will provide. They are looking into doing the hotspots, but that's just, we're still waiting for the FCC um, to get there with it. We're waiting to see what's going to come out.
So when we're looking at, what are schools using technology enablement to do? What content materials, what resources do schools want to make available? Um, you have a variety of applications, your LMS platforms, personalized teaching and curriculum resources, active learning technology. Of course, your smart boards are internet connected, interactive projectors. We work with schools and those resources. All of those are going to be connected to the internet. Even if you're using printers, even those small devices, those are still all connected to the internet. You need to make sure that your network is robust and strong enough to support all of these different devices, technologies, and demands. And especially as distance learning, for some areas that are seeing kind of a return of COVID, as well as other areas that just want to have a diverse array of teaching and learning tools available to them, just because maybe their district has a use for that, depending on the demographics and the community. Distance learning and video conferencing, still an incredibly valuable resource within the K-12 space, obviously relying upon the district network and other internet-based services, which is fairly broad, but you have a lot of different resources that can fit under there that schools are using every single day. So when we talk about the expansion of the network, expansion of connectivity in K-12, there are real day-to-day applications and impacts that come from this. And if we as solution providers like DOF, K-12 leaders like some of the folks that are on this call, folks like Janie, who's an E-rate consultant, if we're not all working together to figure out what is needed to form that technology foundation, to expand it, to strengthen it, maybe to repair it, depending on where it's at. A lot of these things, your active learning technology, your distance learning and video conferencing solutions, even your LMS platform, as LMSs continue to evolve and become more complex and more robust, don't want to take the risk of having something that fails one day because the network was not supported and strengthened in the way that it could have been. And especially with E-rate, Cat 2 directly speaks to um, strengthening, supporting, and expanding that network over time so you can keep doing the things that you need to do.